good, everybody? Thanks for tuning into today's video. We are your main girls. I am Mel, in case you're new here.
And I am her seester, Amanda.
Now we are seesters, not twins. The same, but different.
We both have different hairs, clearly, so we both want to show what would happen if we follow the same routine. But today, we're doing it a little bit differently.
Although we mainly choose to diffuse because of the quicker dry results, the more volume, the bouncier the curls, we tend to get a lot of heat because a lot of people don't like to blow dry their hair. They would rather air dry. But did you know, air drying can actually be damaging to the hair as well. That is, if it is being done incorrectly. But we'll spill the tea on that in a little bit. We're also going to be sharing our top tips so that you can air dry and get amazing results that are lightweight, bouncy, dry quickly, and volume. Because the bigger the hair, the harder they stare.
And without further ado,
Let's get to it.
Still not dancing.
Okay, well, the first step is to start applying our products. Our hairs are pretty wet right now. They're not soaking so that they're like dripping all over the place, but they have a good amount of dampness, which is going to be great to distribute the first product.
In this video, we are also going to be sharing some new products that we have been using to air dry from Curlsmith. So we would like to thank Curlsmith for sponsoring this video. You guys know how much we love and adore Curlsmith's products. So we're really excited to show you guys how these products have been working really well for us in our routines.
Up first, we are going to be using the Air Dry Cream. This is a new leave-in conditioner from Curlsmith. It is a leave-in conditioner. This would be the first product you want to be applying to your hair. This leave-in conditioner is probably one of the most silkiest products I've ever.
It's really silky.
It's super, super silky in the hair, which is amazing. So I'm only applying about a quarter size amount, not a lot.
And I'm applying a little bit more than that because you already know my hair's coarser, longer, denser, so I need a little bit more product.
She needs more Jesus too. Something you need to consider is the more product you have in your hair, the longer it's going to take for your hair to dry. That's why our hair dries super fast when there's nothing in it.
But that's also the really nice thing about this air dry cream is it is really light. So although I am putting a little bit more than Mell is, I'm still not going to take as long to dry as I would with one of my other regular curl creams.
So we're going to go ahead and rake this through, applying it, distributing it evenly through our hair. And we also always recommend to brush through your leave-ins and your creams to make sure that it distributes everywhere and every curl gets some moisturization so you're not left with some random frizzy areas. However, something to note if you don't have textures similar to ours, or if your texture is on the looser, wavier side, brushing your hair out like we're doing here may not work the same for you if your hair is not wet enough. Your hair actually needs to be more on the wet and dripping side in order to achieve those nice clumps. Now, speaking of clumps, we're gonna go ahead and clump our hair using our Denman brushes. In Amanda's Denman brush, she's actually removed some rows, which is actually better for her looser curl. It helps her to clump a little bit better because the more bristles there are, the more it can break up the curl. I have a tighter curl, so I'm using all 7 rows, and Amanda, you have 4 rows in the D3. We just removed some. So moving on to our top region, when we want a lot of volume, we do not want to style with a part in the hair. No part, but yeah. See how my hair is already split here? That's a big no-no, because this will create more of a parting of the C's. The hair will want to fall there. So I want to get rid of that. I'm going to wet the hair back down in that area, and I'm going to make sure that I'm working with no part. And you will see why. This is going to give you a lot more volume. And a tip if you have a stubborn part is to brush it in opposite directions. So first brush your hair one way, then brush your hair the other way, and it's going to confuse the hair. It won't really know where to go besides up. And this is why it is really helpful to separate your hair and to section the top off from the sides and the back. So while working on the top, I always like to style upwards with my brush. Essentially, this is helping us get the best definition in the quickest amount of time. But my seester has a different technique for her hair being much longer.
I like to grab smaller sections on a diagonal to ensure that I am not creating a part in my hair when I'm brushing through with the Denman brush. Although I am not lifting 90 degrees upwards, I am using the Denman brush on a 45-degree angle to ensure that I don't get any parts and I still get an appropriate amount of volume.
We are prepped. We are styled. Something you want to look out for at this stage is to make sure that the hair already looks how you want it to. So we've clumped our hair how we like it. It's already looking really good. It is extremely hydrated and it's still pretty wet. Now, depending on how wet your hair is when you apply your leave-in conditioner based on your preferences or your hair type, you do want to let your hair dry a little bit before applying your next product. Let's let the cream sit in for a minute before we apply our styler, as in our gel, so we can hold these results in. That's going to be very important while we are air drying. Here's why. If you just keep applying more and more products to your wet hair, one, if your hair is soaking and dripping, you're kind of really diluting the product, which is going to be, one, a little bit wasteful, and two, it may not give you the results that you want because certain products are not meant to be applied on soaking wet hair. It's very important to read the label. And actually, Amanda, let's start our timers. The air dry process begins now. Okay, so it has been 10 minutes of air drying and we're gonna apply our second product, which is a gel.
This is Curlsmith's new Hydro Style Flexi Jelly.
This gel will give you medium hold. It won't be too crunchy. We're gonna apply this and we're gonna show you how we have been applying it. It's easy to control. It won't completely run off of your hand, but it also isn't too thick that it's hard to distribute in your hair.
To apply the gel, we are just using some crab hands, as we like to call it.
This is helping to seal the end, so you're still gonna get really good hold on the curl, but you're not applying too much product, which could weigh your hair down. Although these products are really light and weightless, again, the more product you have in your hair, the longer it's gonna take to dry.
After all that, we both make sure to scrunch our hair to help encourage bounce, and at this point, you should still be hearing some squish in your hair when you are scrunching it. If you are hearing that sound at this point of your routine, that means you have applied enough product on properly dampened hair, which is going to ensure that you are distributing the product evenly.
And that's it for products. At this point, we're going to let the hairs air dry. Now, we really just gotta sit and wait. But how can we do this so we're doing it quickly? How can we still have volume and bounce? Amanda, what do you like to do?
I do like to pin the top of my hair and my roots up with a clip. So I'm just gonna use an alligator clip and I'm going to lightly pin the hair. This is gonna make it so that my hair dries off of my face, which I usually prefer, not only for volume, but just for, comfort.
Exactly like Amanda said, root clipping is great for encouraging volume at the roots when your hair is so long and heavy. See, my hair is not as long as heavy. I choose not to root clip. Instead, I just do a little dance. Excuse me. It's like, bring it around. Bring it around. So basically, I'm moving my head. You don't want to be a statue. If your hair stays in one position the whole time, there's not going to be any ventilation in your roots, which is going to cause it to be really flat. It's also going to keep it wet for a long time. So I like to move the hair. I'm not shaking, I'm swaying. Sway. Like that.
Wait, Mel, before we go finish air drying, you said something about how air drying can damage your hair. So why don't we let me and them know what that is?
Yes, this is true. I've done some research, and researchers have found that there is a subsurface damage happening to the hair when you air dry.
What does that mean?
Specifically, there is damage being done to what is called the cell membrane complex, or the CMC. This is a special structure in your hair strand made up of a mixture of proteins and lipids that keep the cuticle and the cortex together. So I guess essentially when the hair is wet for a really long time through air drying, it disturbs those proteins and those lipids, and it can actually cause separation between your cuticle and the cortex, and only air drying can do this. This is unique to air drying, which is really bizarre. Blow drying cannot cause this kind of damage. But don't be alarmed. You're gonna be fine. Just air dry on time.
By following these tips.
And try to stay in a well-ventilated area while you are drying your hair. crack a window open, turn on the fan, make sure that there is air circulation. If you stay in one stiff, static room, it's gonna take a lot longer for your hair to dry. But if you're gonna air dry, sweetie, I'd really rather you do it in the house. You heard that right, folks. Stay inside or proceed with caution because the weather matters. For example, if it is very humid outside, if it had just finished raining, or you live by water and there's always humidity in the air, you need to be very careful. Trying to dry your wet hair in wet conditions is only going to lead to a disaster. It will take longer and it will lead to frizz as well. Also, if it is extremely windy outside, it may be too rough on your hair. Just note that if you are going to air dry outside, it's got to be optimal conditions. We're talking little to no wind and nice, cool, low humidity temperatures. For example, right now, the weather conditions are beautiful. It is clear blue skies. Oh, feels like 2 degrees. Okay, maybe too cold. And while you're at it, don't touch your hair. Please, just hands off. If it helps, put some gloves on. Don't touch your hair. Really let it be. Keep it moving so it dries quick, but don't touch it.
And so after all that yapping, it's been 34 minutes while our hair has been air drying. So we're gonna come back and let you guys know exactly how long it took for our hair to dry and come back with the results.
Nearly 2 hours have elapsed. Almost 2 hours. And not to brag, but if this were a race, I would win. My hair is like 95% dry. Pretty much almost fully, completely dry. Wow. Well, how about you?
My hair is still a little damp, especially in this midsection. I'm feeling a lot of dampness still. My roots aren't as wet because I have been, moving them around as much as I can. But I still have a lot of drying to do. Probably at least 2 hours.
I'm going to stop you right there. We don't want that to happen.
No.
First of all, it's inconvenient.
Inconvenient. I feel cold.
Yeah.
I hate it.
You can't even do anything because your hair is so fragile while it is wet. You can't touch it. You can't do anything. It's going to mess with it. It's going to disturb the process.
Making me more susceptible to frizz. So those of you guys who have hair like me, who know the air dry struggle, I do still like to diffuse my hair during my air dry process. I know some of you might think that's cheating, but for those of us with long, thick hair who still want to achieve that volume, I think that finishing off your style with the diffuser is really, really, really important, and it doesn't keep you looking like a wet dog all day. So I made sure that I still air dried for at least half the way. Like I said, only my midsection is still wet, so I'm going to go in with my diffuser. I really only focused on my midsections because that was the wettest.
The reason why the mid-lengths of your hair stay so wet is because the ends of your hair are more porous than the rest, so they're going to dry the fastest. The roots of your hair will start to dry because gravity is going to push the water downwards. And when your hair is so long, it'll take forever for that moisture to reach your ends, so it just gets stuck in the midsection and stays moist. Let's stop the clocks.
Okay, and that's it. I'm done. I took the diffuser to my hair for about 10 to 15 minutes.
Now that definitely works for you because your hair is so long and also thicker and you applied more product. But when you take a look at my results, it dried super quick. Because my hair is a finer, lighter texture, I didn't apply as much product because I can, because my hair didn't need it. Apply as much as you need. But also because my hair is naturally a lot more porous, you can see because it is super blonde, this makes my hair lose moisture faster. So it did make my hair dry faster. And now before it gets actually dry, we need to seal this all in. So let's apply our finishing product. You really can't skip this step. You need to seal in your hair. One, if you have any crunch from the gel, it's going to help to soften that out, which we do. There's actually a really good hold from this product and you didn't use a lot of it. But because both of these products do have a lot of moisturizing humectant ingredients, we need to seal it in with some heavy emollient occlusive agents. Ingredients that you find like oils, butters, and silicones. Now, Curlsmith products don't have silicones. They are curly girl friendly if you care about that. So that's really great. So today we are using the Intense Treatment Serum from Curlsmith. And the main ingredient in here is shea butter. You do not need a lot of this product, but you absolutely need to use something like this to seal all of that lovely moisture from your wash day in. So this will provide long-lasting results. And now for a little extra volume, you know, if you're a little down from air drying, just fluff it out. And in case you're confused, you only do this once the hair is dry. Because our hair is dry, now we're fluffing it. What do you think? What do you think of Curlsmith's new products? I have to say I am obsessed with the air dry leave-in cream, and this is definitely one of my top favorite leave-in conditioners of all time to date. A lot of the Curlsmith products are my seester's favorite. I hardly get to use them because of that, but I can easily see myself using this a lot in my routine, and I'm excited to continue using it. It really is the bomb. And this one is mine, okay?
Whatever.
Thank you.
We'll see about that. And before we close off this video, I just wanted to mention, you guys know that I love Curlsmith's Hold Me Softly Style Balm mixed with their souffle for my spring and summer routines. It's my holy grail. And I have received a lot of questions about what the difference between the air dry cream and the style balm is. And I have to say that the main difference is exactly what it says on this bottle. This cream is very, very weightless. So if you are someone who tends to air dry or has finer texture, you're going to really love the air dry cream. Or even like someone like me who wants to air dry but has really thick hair and doesn't want to have wet hair for 8 hours, that's a really great option. And I'd say the main difference between the Hydro Style Flex Jelly and the Styling Souffle is that this one is a lighter hold.
It still leaves a crunch,
but it is going to, again, minimize that air dry time because it's not as strong. But I love the results from both lines. Both lines are great. They both have their advantages. And it really just comes down to what you prefer. I myself prefer to diffuse over air drying just in general. So I have been using both these products to diffuse and the results are still excellent. You still have great results. It's just down to your preference, whatever you prefer.
but again, for air dry results, I think these are fabulous. Of course, with our tips and tricks, it was a pretty speedy wash day, so I will continue with that.
Me too.
Just don't touch my bottle.
Don't touch my bottle.
And on that note, that has been air drying with your main girls. Thank you for tuning in to this week's video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace. I am Mel, in case you're new here.
And I am her seester, Amanda.
Moist.
Very moistly. Okay.
And for the record, Amanda fully cheated because she
It's not
diffused.
cheating. It's called getting good results.
It's a life hack, really.